What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home? A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I am Hashni Patirana.
And I'm Sandra Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Former Additional Secretary Mahesh Gammanpilla arrested over the Chinese organic fertilizer deal. Remanded till the 5th of May. Siri Dalada Vandana concludes successfully. Special program conducted today to clean Kandy. Bribery Commission questions former President Ranil for 3 hours. The culture where the corrupt was provided with political protection has been completely changed. A statement by Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya. Petition filed seeking an order to reject the NPP's nomination list for the Kasbah Urban Council dismissed. 30 candidates who violated election laws arrested. India tests long-range missiles in the wake of Kashmir terror attack.
In a top story for tonight, Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali today ordered former Additional Secretary at the Ministry of Agriculture Mahesh Gammanpilla, who was arrested on suspicion of committing the offence of corruption, to be remanded until the 5th of May. He was accused of causing a loss to the government by approving the implementation of a shipment of substandard organic fertilizer from a Chinese company under the previous government.
Mahesh Gammanpilla, the former Additional Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, has been remanded until the 5th May after he was produced before Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali. He was arrested by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption over a controversial organic fertilizer import deal in 2021. In 2021, he allegedly instructed officials to open already suspended letters of credit for the importation of a substandard stock of organic fertilizer from a Chinese company. This decision reportedly led to the government making a payment of around $6.9 million, equivalent to 75% of the cost of the initial fertilizer shipment, resulting in what authorities claim was an unjust financial loss to the state. Bribery Commission officials in their report to the court asserted that the suspect had committed an act of corruption, and since the investigation is still ongoing, they requested that he be further remanded. After considering the submission made, the Colombo Chief Magistrate remanded the suspect until the 5th of May. The Chief Magistrate also ordered the official of the Bribery Commission to present a report on the progress of the investigations on that day.
On the 21st of April, then President Gotabaya Rajapaksa issued a Gazette notification abruptly banning the importation of chemical fertilizers to Sri Lanka. It was only after this Gazette notification that the organic fertilizer policy was announced. Even the farmers of this country, who dealt with nature and cultivations all their lives, knew that this decision would only lead the country's agricultural sector into an abyss. But no attention was paid. The leaders at that time said that there was insufficient dollars in the country and it needed to be used sparingly. But what happened? The Chinese company Qingdao Seawind Biotech Group stepped forward to provide Sri Lanka with organic fertilizer manufactured using seaweed, responding to an open tender. Although this company was awarded the tender, the National Plant Quarantine Service on 2 occasions confirmed that this fertilizer contained harmful bacteria. However, disregarding this warning and without the approval of the National Plant Quarantine Service, the Hippo Spirit vessel reached Sri Lanka carrying 20,000 metric tons of organic fertilizer. In order to issue a quarantine certificate for the importation of fertilizer, the relevant company first needs to obtain clearance from the National Plant Quarantine Service. Later, the Chinese vessel changed its name, dropped off the radar to satellite navigation systems, and remained in the Sri Lankan waters for many days before departing the island. However, the Chinese vessel had not yet concluded its business. The Chinese company also took back the bond guarantee of $5 million deposited in the country. As per the agreement reached, Sri Lanka ended up paying $6.9 million for the Chinese vessel. The Attorney General also stated that instead of importing the stock of organic fertilizer in compliance with the existing laws, the concerned Chinese company and the government had bent the laws to suit their requirements. In the end, the country was left with no fertilizer and no dollars. The Sirasa Vandana that was conducted over the course of 10 days was successfully concluded yesterday. Now, since last afternoon, government institutions and civil society organizations launched a joint effort to clean the city of Kandy. The Sirasa Vandana began on the 18th of this month. It was organized at the request of President Andra Kumar Dissanayake under the guidance of the chief prelates of the Malwadu and Askeri chapters and under the direction of the Diyavadana Nilame of the historic Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic. The special opportunity to pay homage to the Sacred Tooth Relic for 10 days concluded last evening. Following the conclusion of the Sirasa Vandana, government bodies and civil society organizations jointly launched a city-wide cleaning program in Kandy.
दंत दातु उत्तमाभि वंदना त्रैलोक्यनाथ दंत दातु उत्तमाभि वंदना
දිසාපතිතුමා සහ අපේ ආණ්ඩුකාරතුමා ඇතුළු දියවඩනතුමා ඇතුළු සියලු සේනා සංවිධානය වෙලා මහනුවර නගරේ ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදාවත සහයෝගීව එකතුවෙන් ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා සමග එකතු වෙලා මේක ක්ලීන් කරන්න වැඩි පිළිවෙලක් සකස් කරගෙන යනවා.
The Chief Engineer for Solid Waste Management at the Kandy Municipal Council, Namal Dhammika Dissanayake, said that all waste collected within the city of Kandy was removed by 10 p.m. last night. He further said that a total of 606 tons of mixed waste had been transported to the designated waste management site.
අද දවසේ අපිට තියෙන්නේ ඉදිරි කටයුතු සැලසුම් කර ගැනීම. ඉතින් ඇත්තටම හැමෝගෙම උදව්වෙන් අපි මේ කසල ටික ගොහගොඩ කසලාංගණය වෙත බැහැර කරගත්තා. මොකද අපිට තිබුණා විධිමත් සැලැස්මක් මේ කසල බැහැර කිරීමේ. හැබැයි මේ වගේ කාර්යබහුල අවස්ථාවක අපිට ඒක කරන්නට බෑ. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා අපි පළවෙනි කාර්යය උනේ ලෝක උරුම සංචාරක මහනුවර නගරයේ මේ කසල ටික ඉවත් කිරීම. ඉතින් ඒ ඉවත් කිරීම සඳහා ඇත්තටම ලොකු සහයෝගයක් ගරු ආණ්ඩුකාරතුමාගෙන් හැමෝගෙම ලැබුණා.
In an effort to swiftly clean the city of Kandy, government institutions, private organizations, volunteer groups and Sri Lankans who cherish the Kandy city actively participated in clean-up activities today as well. Under the leadership of Eslon Lanka Private Limited, a disinfection program was carried out today around the historic temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic.
රජමානසගේ වාසස්ථානයට අවට ප්‍රදේශය අපිරිසුදු තියෙන්නට බෑ. මේ සඳුන් සුවඳ හමන ඒ ජේතවනාරාමයේ වගේ මේ දළදා මාලිගාව අවට ඒ නියම විදියට පිරිසුදු වෙලා අපවිත්‍රතාවය අයින් වෙලා නියමාකාරයට සුද්ධ පවිත්‍ර වීම සඳහා තමයි අපි මේ අපිට කළ හැකි පමණින් අපි මේක කරන්නේ.
Meanwhile, the Chief Secretary's Office of the Central Province announced that a program has been launched to return unclaimed luggage belonging to devotees who visited Kandy for the Sirasa Vandana. Chief Secretary GHMA Premasiri said that the unclaimed items can be reclaimed today and tomorrow at the Joy Boat Service area near the Kandy Lake Round upon verification of ownership. Additionally, all schools that were used to accommodate military personnel during the Sirasa Vandana have been thoroughly cleaned and formally handed back to the school authorities.
ඇතට මේ වෙනට මහනුවර නගරය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම පිරිසිදු කරලා අවසන්. ඔබට දකින්න පුළුවන් පෙර පැවතියටත් වඩා ලස්සන මහනුවර නගරයක් දැන් අපිට පේන්න තියෙනවා. ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා වැඩසටහන ඇතුළු කරගත්තු සමස්ත රාජ්‍ය ආයතන, විවිධ සංවිධාන, තරුණ කණ්ඩායම්, විවිධ කණ්ඩායම් ඒකරාශී වෙමින් සහ මහනුවර ප්‍රජාව සියලු දෙනා එක්ව මේ කටයුත්ත මේ වෙනට සාර්ථකව නිම කරලා තියෙනවා. පැමිණි ජනතාවට පහසුකම් සලසන්න අපිට මේ රටේ විවිධ කොටස් විවිධ කණ්ඩායම් අපිට සහාය දුන්නා. දන්සල් දීලා සහ විවිධ ක්‍රම වේද ඔස්සේ ඔවුන් සහාය දුන්නා. ඒ සියලු දෙනාට මගේ ගෞරව ස්තුතිය පුද කරනවා. ඒ වගේම විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ මහනුවර ජන ගඟක් තියෙන ඉන්න වෙලාවේ මේ අපහසුතාවය දරා ගන්නමින් සිටි මහනුවර නගරවාසීන් ඇතුළු ප්‍රදේශවාසීන්ට විශේෂයෙන්ම මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ගෞරව කරන්න අවශ්‍යයි.
Moving on to news overseas, India has banned 16 Pakistani YouTube channels with a total of 63 million subscribers. The Indian government has also warned the BBC over a headline that read, "Pakistan suspends visas for Indians after deadly Kashmir attack on tourists."
16 Pakistani YouTube channels with a total of 63 million subscribers have been banned in India for spreading provocative and communally sensitive content in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack. The YouTube channels have been banned on the Union Home Ministry's recommendations. The banned platforms include YouTube channels of news outlets Dawn, Sama TV, ARY News, Bol News, Raftar, Geo News and Suno News. YouTube channels of journalists Irshad Bhati, Asma Shirazi, Umar Chima and Munib Farooq have also been banned. Other handles that have been banned include the Pakistan Reference, Sama Sports, Uzair Cricket and Razi Nama. The government has also warned the BBC over a headline that read, and I quote, "Pakistan suspends visas for Indians after deadly Kashmir attack on tourists," end quote. Several social media users had pointed out that the headline read as if India killed the tourists. At the same time, during the 40-minute meeting at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's residence, India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh briefed him about the security preparedness. This comes a day after Singh met the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, to discuss the key decisions taken up by the military to counter Pakistan following the horrific terrorist attack in Pahalgam. India said on Monday it had responded to unprovoked small arms firing from Pakistan along the de facto border for the fourth consecutive night as it deepens its search for militants in the region following last week's deadly attack on tourists in Kashmir. Meanwhile, India's Navy test-fired missiles on Sunday, showcasing its ability to carry out long-range precision offensive strikes as tensions with Pakistan rise after last week's terrorist attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that killed 26 civilians. Indian Navy ships undertook successful multiple anti-ship firings to revalidate and demonstrate readiness of platforms, systems and crew for long-range precision offensive strike. The Navy posted on X as the Prime Minister Narendra Modi promised a harsh response to the attack at a tourist site, the deadliest against civilians in Kashmir in 25 years. The missiles launched are designed for powerful, long-range, high-precision strikes. Fueling speculation about possible Indian military action, India's Information Ministry issued a media advisory warning against live broadcasting of military operations. Echoing concerns from past crises such as the 1999 Kargil War and the 2008 Mumbai attacks, the advisory reflected fears about real-time broadcasts compromising sensitive strategies. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Sunday held phone talks with Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar. Dar briefed Wang, also a member of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, on the latest tensions between Pakistan and India following a terrorist attack in the Kashmir region. Dar emphasized that Pakistan has consistently and firmly fought against terrorism and is against any actions that could lead to an escalation of the situation. Dar added that Pakistan is committed to managing the situation in a mature manner and will maintain communication with China and the international community. Additionally, the US State Department said yesterday that Washington was in touch with both India and Pakistan while urging them to work towards what it called a responsible solution, as tensions have risen between the two Asian nations following a recent Islamist militant attack in Kashmir. In public, the US government has expressed support for India after the attack but has not criticized Pakistan. India blamed Pakistan for the April 22nd attack in Indian-administered Kashmir that killed over 2 dozen people. However, Pakistan denies responsibility and called for a neutral probe. The deadline for Pakistani nationals with short-term visas to leave India has passed, and the consequences of overstaying their visas despite the government's orders are clear. Defaulters may face arrest, prosecution, fines or potential imprisonment. Any Pakistani who fails to leave India as per the deadlines set by the government will be arrested, prosecuted and may face a jail term of up to 3 years or a fine of a maximum 300,000 Indian rupees or both, as per the Immigration and Foreigners Act 2025. The Act, which came into effect on the 4th of April, outlines punishment for those overstaying their visas, violating visa conditions or trespassing in restricted areas. India and Pakistan have fought 3 wars, 2 over Kashmir, which each holds in part but claims in full. They have come to the brink many other times, leading the former US President Bill Clinton to call the Himalayan region the world's most dangerous place. Pakistan's military doctrine of full-spectrum deterrence focuses on using tactical nuclear weapons to deter conventional threats, while India's cold start doctrine is designed to deliver swift conventional strikes before escalation. These contrasting strategies have raised fears any confrontation could quickly spin out of control. New Delhi has accused Islamabad of links to the attack. While presenting no public proof, it has pointed to Islamabad's past support for terrorists targeting India. In tit-for-tat moves, India suspended the Indus Waters Treaty, expelled Pakistani diplomats and cancelled Pakistani visas. Islamabad retaliated by expelling Indian diplomats, cancelling Indians' visas, closing its airspace and suspending the 1972 Ship Dialogue Framework.
ඔබේ ගමේ නගරේ දේශපාලනයේ හෙට දවස සතිය දිනවල සවස 6:30ට.
If you do not perform, or if you have not performed, and if you do not perform, this is a protest vote we are going to place, and that signal, that protest vote will go down very well because the government will know that their popularity is coming down and they will have to arrest him.
This government needs checks and balances.
You can't say only winning parties announce their candidates. There have been it has been time and time again where, candidates are chosen.
Our police is still being restructured and reformed at the moment, and that is part of the reason. But I also think organized crime is a bit unsettled at the moment.
Face the Nation every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m.
Into more local news, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe arrived at the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery and corruption today to provide a statement. The former president was summoned by the Bribery Commission to inquire into a recent statement made by him regarding an alleged financial misappropriation committed by former parliamentarian Chamara Sampath Dasanayake, who is currently in remand custody.
Parliamentarian Chamara Sampath was arrested by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption on the 27th of March for his alleged role in committing financial fraud by obtaining money from state banks to provide school bags for children while he was the Chief Minister of the Uva province. After his arrest, the Bribery Commission reported facts to the Colombo Chief Magistrate with regard to 3 cases, one of which involved charges of causing the government a loss of 17.3 million rupees after he withdrew several fixed deposits from a state bank after the said state bank refused to fund his project to provide school bags to school children. Subsequently, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe on the 10th of April made a statement regarding the incident and said that Parliamentarian Chamara Sampath had withdrawn the said fixed deposits from the bank based on a circular issued by the government at the time.
මම අගමැතිව හිටපු කාලෙදී විශේෂ මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන
When I was the Prime Minister with the consent of President Maithripala Sirisena, it was our Treasury Secretary who sent out the circular at the time, stating that the money of provincial councils cannot be kept in deposits. The funds provided by the government and other funds must be spent during the year. If the funds are not spent, they must be returned either to the Treasury or the Ministry. We took that step because keeping the money in a fixed deposit and using it for another project later is illegal.
නීති විරෝධී නිසා තමයි ඒ පියවර අපි ගත්තේ.
The Bribery Commission had summoned the former president to present facts on the said statement on 2 occasions, but the former president had requested for further dates to be given. The former president arrived at the Bribery Commission at 9:15 a.m. today. According to our correspondent, several lawyers had accompanied the former president. Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe was at the Bribery Commission for about 3 hours.
අල්ලස් කොමිසමේ දැනුම් දීම මත අද පැමිණියා. පැය 3කට ආසන්න කාලයක් පිටු 10ක කට උත්තරයක් දුන්නා. Taman දන්න ඔක්කොම කිව්වා. නිලධාරීත් හොදට සෝදශීලීව මේ සැලකුවා. දැන් මේ කතාව විතරයි. දැන් ගෙදර යනවා.
ඒකේ ලොකු අවුලක් නැහැ වගේනේ.
මොන්න නගුලක්ද?
ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද මේ නාට්‍යයක්ද මෙතන උනේ?
ඒක මන් දන්නේ. ඒක දන්නේ නැති අල්ලස් කොමිසමේ කැදුවම යන්න එපා. නොකින් ඉන්න බෑනේ. නීතියට ගරු කරන්න ඕනනේ. දැන් ගොඩක් අය රජ ආයතනය කරන්නේ මධ්‍යම ආණ්ඩුවෙන් සල්ලි දුන්නාම ඒක පාවිච්චි නොකර ෆික්ස් ඩිපොසිට් වල ස්ථිර තම්පත වල දා ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ අලුතෙන් නීතියක් ගෙනාවා එහෙම කරන්න බෑ. පීඩම් කරන්න නැත්නම් ඒ සල්ලි ආයි යවන්න ඕන කියලා. ඒ ගැන පැහැදිලි කරන්න තමයි නායකතුමා කට උත්තරේ දුන්නේ. ඕක ඇති දෙයක් නෑ.
නැවත කැඳවීමක් තියනවද?
නෑ නෑ.
After leaving the Bribery Commission, former President Ranil Wickremesinghe convened a media briefing along with several of his lawyers.
අප්‍රේල් 11 වෙනිදා දැනුම් දුන්නා. මම අප්‍රේල් 10 වෙනිදා කරපු මාධ්‍ය අනුව ප්‍රකාශ අනුව ඒට අදාළ තොරතුරු මම දන්න නිසා.
On the 11th of April, they informed me that as I am aware of the details based on the statement that I made on the 10th of April, I had gotten involved in the series of events in this matter. I was not in Colombo the next week as I was celebrating the New Year. I don't know if the government celebrates the New Year, but we celebrate the New Year. In addition to that, my lawyer had travelled overseas. After I informed them of that, I got a second letter. Ronald Pereira had sent a letter to the Director General that he will not be available until the 28th. However, I got a letter on the 21st summoning me on the 25th. Although I was available on the 25th, he wasn't available. Therefore, Reshan Pereira wrote a letter informing them of that. I was surprised when I was summoned again because the Director General was informed in writing that he is not available until the 27th. In that letter, I was informed to provide details that I am aware of. In addition to that, I was informed that further investigations are underway under Section 126 of the Anti-Corruption Act No. 9 of 2023 to determine if the reasons I have presented for my unavailability till the 21st of April was a justifiable excuse, and they had summoned me regarding that as well. According to this, I am a suspect, and I told them that if I am a suspect, I need my lawyer with me. Then they said that it was not the case. Afterwards, Reshan Gamage had written to the chairman, Idda I had received a letter on the 25th. In this letter, they had not said that I had intervened. They had said that I had intervened unnecessarily. So I said that based on this, I may have to face a criminal investigation and I would need an attorney. They said that I would not need an attorney. I also informed them that many people come to the commission every day, but it is only when I come to the commission that the media is informed. I objected to the fact that these documents were being shown to third parties. I was asked as to whom the documents were shown to. I informed them about the speech made by President Kumar Disanayak in Batiklo. In the speech, he says he was summoned to the commission on the 21st, and I saw a letter where he said that he is celebrating the New Year's. That means that he had seen the letter. So I asked him to give me time when I can come with my lawyers and meet the commission. How can the president speak of these matters that are done by the commission?
ඒ කියන්නේ එතුමා ලියුම දැකලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා කරුණාකරලා මගේ නීතිඥ මහත්තුන්ට කොමිසම මුණ ගැහෙන්න වෙලාවක් දෙන්න කිව්වා. කොහොමද කොමිසමේ මේ ජනාධිපති කතා කරන්නේ?
The Bribery Commission is due to submit facts to court based on the statement made by former President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Education Secretary of Frontline Socialist Party Pubudu Jayagowda expressed these views about former President Ranil Wickremesinghe being summoned to the Bribery Commission.
Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe was summoned to the Bribery Commission today. He said something, came out, he held a media briefing that we can't understand, and even Ranil Wickremesinghe himself couldn't understand. We are still evaluating as to what he said at that media briefing. What did Ranil say? He said something. One thing that we understood is the fact that after the bribery commission summoned him, Ranil Wickremesinghe went to the bribery commission when he wanted to. He did not go to the commission when the commission summoned him. Ranil is coming and saying that he couldn't find a lawyer and that he will only come when he has found a lawyer. There are enough lawyers in Sri Lanka. Ranil said that the lawyer that he wants was not in the country and that he waited until he got a convenient date and that he will go to the commission whenever he wants.
The Court of Appeal has dismissed a writ petition filed by former State Minister Prasanna Ranawira seeking an order to prevent his arrest in connection with a case against an alleged illegal acquisition of state land under the purview of the Kalaniya Divisional Secretariat.
The order was issued by a bench comprising the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Muhammad Lafa Tahir and Justice Priyantha Fernando. Former State Minister Prasanna Ranawira had filed the writ petition seeking an order to prevent his arrest in connection with a case against an alleged illegal acquisition of state land under the purview of the Kalaniya Divisional Secretariat. Former Minister Mervyn Silva and several others are currently in remand custody as ordered by the Mahara Magistrates Court for the same incident.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that the culture which previously provided political cover for criminal activities has been entirely transformed. She expressed these views during a rally in Suryawava.
It has been 7 months since the presidential election. Reflect on all the discussions. Does anyone who criticizes us claim that we are engaged in theft? Does anyone accuse us of misusing public funds? Does anyone suggest there is fraud or corruption? No, they don't. That's why they keep searching for other narratives. We have nothing to hide. We have reformed the political culture. We have also removed the political cover that previously shielded criminal activities. Those who once felt untouchable are now realizing that there is no longer any political shield for corruption. Could anyone have imagined in the past that the IGP would be arrested? We have turned the situation around within the police force. Those who were once protected by that network are now feeling threatened. People like Pilyan, who previously held cabinet positions in the government, have been arrested. Unusual events are unfolding now. If you listen to the voices of those in Pohottua, they regard Pilyan as a national hero. Yet, we are arresting Pilyan in connection with the disappearance of the Vice-Chancellor of Eastern University. However, former MPs, ministers and government officials, particularly those from the Pohottua, are concerned because Pilyan has valuable information. I sense the fear surrounding the information he holds, not just related to this case but to other incidents as well. As investigations unfold, more details are coming up and the truth is coming to light. We have taken crucial steps to clean the system.
ඒක තමයි දකින්න තියෙන්නේ. මේ පද්ධතිය සුද්ධ කිරීමට ගත යුතු පියවර ගණනාවක් අපි අරගෙන තියෙනවා. අර ගනිමින් ඉන්නවා.
Newsfirst with the people.
The local government election Sri Lanka 2025.
The Department of Posts says that over 90% of the local government election polling cards have been successfully delivered. Deputy Postmaster General Premachandra Herath said that the door-to-door distribution of election polling cards will conclude tomorrow. Voters who do not receive their polling cards by then will be able to collect them from their nearest post office. The Deputy Postmaster General further noted that this facility will be available until 4 p.m. on the 6th of May, the day of the election.
Election polling cards have been handed over to the Department of Posts since the 16th and distribution is currently in progress. The final day for delivering polling cards is the 29th. If any eligible voter whose name appears on the electoral roll has not received their polling card by then, they may collect it from the designated post office responsible for its distribution.
Meanwhile, postal voting for the local government elections continued for the third consecutive day today. Postal voting is scheduled to conclude tomorrow. Accordingly, postal votes can be cast between 8:30 a.m. and 4:15 p.m.
We have no intention of using any dates other than these two for this purpose. Therefore, we specifically urge voters who have not yet cast their postal votes to do so on the 28th and 29th. The Election Commission is currently making all necessary arrangements to conduct the election for all 339 local government institutions on the 6th May as originally planned.
Meanwhile, 30 candidates have been arrested for violating election laws. These arrests took place between the 3rd of March and 6 a.m. this morning. During the same period, 131 party supporters were also taken into custody. Additionally, 31 vehicles have been impounded by the police. The police said that a total of 313 complaints have been received concerning violations of election laws. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Magistrates Court today granted bail to two suspects, including Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna candidate Jagat Samantha, the brother of former Minister Sanath Nishantha, on sureties of 100,000 rupees. They were arrested this morning in Arachikatwa for organising an illegal rally last March. The arrest followed an investigation conducted by the Putlam Crimes Division.
The Supreme Court today decided to dismiss a fundamental rights petition filed seeking an order to reject the nomination list submitted by the National People's Power for the Casbah Municipal Council.
The petition was heard before a bench of Supreme Court judges Preeti Padman Surasena, Janak De Silva and Sampath Abekun. This petition was filed by MT Ratnasiri Fernando, a candidate running for the Casbah Municipal Council from the Samagi Jana Balawegaya. The petition states that the candidate named SKL Vilekadi Alves, who is included in the nomination list submitted by the National People's Power for the Casbah Urban Council, had been employed at the same urban council from June 2024 to March 2025. It has been pointed out that according to the election law, it is against the law for a person who has been employed at an urban council in this manner for a period of 1 year prior to the election to contest for a position as a member of that urban council. Accordingly, the petition sought that an order be issued rejecting the nomination paper, ruling that it was unlawful. Deputy Solicitor General Kanishka De Silva, who appeared for the Attorney General, pointed out that the Supreme Court does not have jurisdiction to hear this petition at this time. The Deputy Solicitor General pointed out that if the respondent candidate somehow wins, that issue should be contested through an election petition, but emphasized that it cannot be challenged through a fundamental rights petition. Considering the arguments of both parties, the judge stated that the petition would be dismissed without examination as no legal foundation was revealed to grant the relief sought through the petition.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa expressed these views speaking at a public meeting held in Mathale today.
They said they would reduce the prices of goods as soon as they come into power. Didn't they? The price of rice has gone up. The price of milk has gone up, and there is a shortage of coconuts. The supply cannot match salt demand of the people. I would like to ask, how can a developed nation be created without reducing the prices of goods? We are telling you that we are doing something that this government cannot do in all local government institutions to ensure the victory of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya in the upcoming local government elections.
Speaking at a public meeting held in Mathara today, UNP national organizer Sagala Ratnayaka expressed his views on the leadership of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya.
All of our party members were committed to rebuilding and strengthening the UNP. We reached out to the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, which had broken away from us. Majority agreed on reuniting the party under the elephant symbol. There is a strong desire within their ranks to reunite. However, the process consistently stalls at a particular point and never moves forward. There are 2 or 3 who are afraid that if the parties reunite, they will lose their positions. They believe that someone else in their party will rise in prominence and they fear being pushed out. Because of this, they prevent any progress towards unity. Today, Ranil Wickramasinghe was summoned to the Bribery Commission because he spoke on behalf of MP Chamara Sampath. In reality, it was the duty of the opposition leader and the other members of parliament from the opposition to stand up for him. But due to the opposition leaders' lack of courage and failure to protect opposition MPs, it was the former president, now retired Ranil Wickremesinghe, who had to speak on his behalf, leading him to being called before the bribery commission. I believe the opposition leader and the entire opposition have either made a deal with the government or are too afraid to act.
Against a backdrop where the national organizer of the United National Party is criticising the opposition leader, both the Samiki Jana Balawegaya and the UNP are declaring that their leaders will become president by the end of this year.
By the 6th of May, we will see further results. This government will weaken even more by the time we head towards elections. By August, this will intensify. By the end of the year, because of the crisis, they will not be able to stand. This cannot continue. This government will change. This situation cannot simply disappear. Before that, there will be a change of government. I promise you, by December, Sajith Premadasa will become the president of this country. It will happen quietly. I am telling you, it will come naturally. We won't even have to force it.
The deputy leader of the United National Party also expressed his views on the situation today.
From what I can see, a crisis is inevitable. There's no doubt about it. I can't say exactly when, but if things continue the way they are, a crisis will definitely occur. At that point, the country will need leadership from the United National Party. Then, are we just there to work?
The chairman of the UNP also expressed his views.
By December, things are going to get tough for all of you. But that's all right. When the government falls, we'll have a huge opportunity. Right now, we don't even hold a single seat. But come December, when the country collapses, I want to clearly say that it will be Ranil Wickremesinghe from the United National Party who will be appointed as the 10th executive president of Sri Lanka.
This was the government's response.
I heard Kabir Hashim saying that Sajith Premadasa will become the president by December. How nice are these dreams? If things continue like this, Sajith will lose his position as the opposition leader after the local government elections. You can quote me on that. The dentist Rajitha says that Ranil will take over the government. Don't you all realize that all of them have gone mad together over power? They dream of summoning the parliament, appointing the cabinet of ministers, sitting in the president's chair, sitting in the speaker's chair. Those are the kinds of dreams Rajitha, Harsha and Ranil have in their sleep. They're now trying to scare off people ahead of the local government elections, saying Sajith will win in 6 months and Ranil will return in 3 months. But I tell you with certainty, we have ensured that power will not be returned back into their hands within our lifetime.
These are the views expressed by the national organizer of Sri Lanka Podujana Peruna, MP Namal Rajapaksa, at a public rally held in Kalutara today.
The Alpitiya Pradeshya Sabha is just across the border. The election concluded 6 months ago. If they truly wanted to develop the village, to show the people a model for village development, the President and the Prime Minister had the opportunity through the Alpitiya Pradeshya Sabha. Up to date, what has been done at the Alpitiya Pradeshya Sabha? Show at least one development, one plan, one program carried out by this government since coming into power. That is why, my dear mothers and fathers, we have always believed in strengthening the rural economy. We have always placed our trust in the villages. We have always believed that the villages must be developed. In this election, go from village to village, from house to house. Bring back those supporters who have drifted away from us. Let us reunite them.
Russian President Vladimir Putin today declared a 3-day ceasefire in the war with Ukraine to mark the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Soviet Union and its allies in World War II.
Now, the Kremlin said the 72-hour ceasefire would run from start of May 8th to the end of the 10th of May, and Russia called on Ukraine to join it as well. Meanwhile, North Korea confirmed that its soldiers were sent to fight with Russia against Ukraine. North Korea has confirmed for the first time that it sent troops to Russia to support Moscow's war against Ukraine, and that its forces had contributed to taking back Russian territory held by Ukraine's military in the Kursk region. In a statement provided by North Korea's official Korean Central News Agency or the KCNA on Monday, the Central Military Commission of the ruling Workers' Party said that the country's leader, Kim Jong-un, had sent troops into combat alongside Russian forces as part of a mutual defense treaty between Moscow and Pyongyang. The KCNA quoted Kim as saying that soldiers were deployed to annihilate and wipe out the Ukrainian neo-Nazi occupiers and liberate the Kursk area in cooperation with the Russian armed forces. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Kim signed a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty in June last year, committing the two countries to come to each other's assistance militarily in the event of war. Meanwhile, Ukrainian military launched a massive overnight drone strike on Russia with the vast majority of UAVs intercepted over Bryansk region. Russian air defenses intercepted a total of 115 drones between 8:30 p.m. yesterday and 4:35 a.m. today, including 10 over Crimea and the Black Sea, 2 over Kursk region and 1 near Belgorod region. Some 102 drones were drowned over Bryansk region, where, according to Governor Alexander Bogomaz, the attack damaged civilian infrastructure and killed at least one person.
In more news overseas, public hearings started on Monday at the International Court of Justice in The Hague to examine Israel's obligations in connection with its activities in its occupied Palestinian territory.
The hearings will address a request for an advisory opinion on the obligations of Israel in relation to the presence and activities of the United Nations, other international organizations and third states in and in relation to the occupied Palestinian territory. Representatives from 40 countries and 4 international organizations are expected to present oral submissions during the proceedings. Among the participating countries are Turkey, Malaysia, South Africa, China, Russia, Spain, Ireland, Brazil, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Key organizations including the UN, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the Arab League will also contribute. The proceedings are being held at the Peace Palace, the seat of the ICJ, and are open to the public. Israel, which is among the countries that submitted written statements, will not make an oral submission during the hearings. A Palestinian envoy accused Israel of using humanitarian aid as weapons of war during International Court of Justice hearings as Gaza faces mass starvation due to an Israeli blockade. The Israeli foreign minister slams the hearings, which focus on Israel's humanitarian obligations in occupied Palestinian territory. The hearings in The Hague will continue for 5 days. At least 52,243 Palestinians have been confirmed killed and 117,639 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza since it began 18 months ago. The Gaza government media office updated the death toll to more than 61,700, saying thousands of people missing under the rubble are presumed dead.
Today on Happy Headlines, we bring to you details of a cultural festival in Mahena. Happy Headlines. The Gammadda Cultural Arts Festival was held at the Delgoda Mahena Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Viharasthana yesterday. The event was organized by the International Foundation of the Viharastha Dharma Vidyalaya. The skills of the students were on display at the festival that was attended by many people.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.